The school board meeting will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Again, the school board meeting will begin in 1 minute.
The March 8th, 2022 meeting of the Marion County School Board is now called to order. We're going to have our statement from Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. We are the Marion County School District Leadership Team. When we come together to work, we are efficient, effective, and productive. Our three most important characteristics are dedicated, transparent, and individually responsible. To work well together, we must demonstrate respect, confront reality, and be accountable. We will always put students first. We will leave a legacy of success.
Thank you. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I'm requesting everyone in the audience to please remove their hats and to turn off their electronic devices or put them on vibrate. Later in the meeting, up to 30 minutes will be provided for individuals to address the board on matters concerning the operation of the Marion County school system or the school board only. Presentations to the board are limited to 5 minutes and are televised. If you wish to address the board regarding a regular agenda item or matters on which the board customarily takes action, you must first complete a peach form located in the lobby. If you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing or a student discipline matter, please complete a lime green form. These forms must be fully completed and received by the board clerk no later than 5:40 p.m. The procedures applicable for each are on a separate sheet. Board clerk, please call the roll.
Mrs. Allison Campbell, District 1.
Here.
Mr. Don Browning, District 2.
Here.
Mr. Eric Cummings, District 3.
Present.
Mrs. Nancy Thrower, District 4.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly King, District 5.
Here.
Dr. Diane Gullett, Superintendent.
Here.
Mr. Jeremy Powers, School Board Attorney.
Here. Ms. Ginger Cruz, Principal, Westport High School. Please introduce the individuals that will lead us into inspiration and pledge.
Good evening. Chair Cummings, Vice Chair Campbell, members of the board, Dr. Gullett, Attorney Powers, and Mrs. Martinez Lopez. At the beginning of the school year, which seems like years ago, principals were given the opportunity to honor an outstanding student at our schools by presenting them to the school board and having them provide an inspiration and pledge. Anyone that knows me knows that this is a very difficult task because I believe that all my 2,800 students are outstanding in their own way. However, the student I'm presenting to you tonight has a unique story, and as we ponder social and emotional status of many of our students, this student epitomized the, I lost my track, how internal drive along with support and passion can change one's life. Eduardo Diaz is currently a student at Westport High School. His parents were born in Mexico, but he came to the United States to provide the family a better life. Eduardo began his school as an English as a second language learner who did not speak English until second grade. He spent all of his academic years in Marion County Public Schools, and he will graduate in May with not only his high school diploma, but also his Associate's in Arts degree from the College of Central Florida. He is a scholar athlete who started out his high school career playing soccer, but transitioned to cross country and track after that. I remember attending the first cross-country meet of his last year on the Westport campus and was amazed at his speed, and I believe he was also. He was named the 2021-22 Ocala Star Banner Cross Country Runner of the Year, Florida Athletic Coaching Association All-Star in cross country, and holds 3 school records for track and cross country. He is committed to Alcorn State University for a track and cross country scholarship, full ride scholarship, and plans to major in business. It is my honor and privilege to introduce Mr. Eduardo Diaz to each of you.
Hello, good evening to all. I'm Eduardo Diaz. First off, I would like to thank the board and Ms. Cruz for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you all today. I stand here today to speak about how through inner drive, one can discover heights that they had never thought about reaching before. Finding one's inner drive or inspiration is no easy task. It can take some people a lifetime to discover a motive to push far beyond their limits, but in my case, it came to me at a fairly young age. My motive to push forward came to me during one of the hardest chapters in my life, which was during my middle school years. This was a rough patch for me because I was dealing with all sorts of setbacks, and during this time, my father had been deported to Mexico, leaving behind my mother, sister, and me. The absence of a father was truly detrimental to my development as a child, and the effect it had was even greater during the transition from a child to a teenager. And without my father by my side to guide and advise me through life's challenges, I fell enemy to my biggest obstacle in life, my self-image. And at the time, I became very overweight and upset with how I looked, creating a negative perspective towards life in my eyes. It was further worsened through the endless bullying incidents in school and on the bus rides home. I only ever felt secure wearing a large hoodie and baggy pants. I wasn't happy with who I was, and I pondered all day for a solution until it clicked. I looked into my mother's and sister's eyes and then took a long stare at myself in the mirror. And that day, I decided that I was going to be someone in life. Seeing the struggles that my parents experienced on a daily basis solidified my dream of wanting to make them proud as becoming the first person in my family to attend university. I decided that my setbacks were no longer going to be setbacks. They were going to be motives to push me forward to be better every day. I decided that I had to be the master of my own fate, and I knew from then on that I was going to reach success no matter the circumstances I was dealt with. As I've experienced success and continue to prosper, I have come to see the bigger picture behind it all. The ultimate goal has now become to not only keep on pushing myself, but to also inspire and motivate others along the way. I have made it my mission to make sure I influence all others around me in a positive way because I believe everyone has the ability to become someone, and all they need is a little push to get started on the long journey. If I could give advice to anyone struggling to find inspiration or motivation in their life, I would tell them that no matter how dark a path can be, there is always a light within you guiding you through the journey, but it is your choice to use it. I would like to recite the poem Invictus by the great poet William Ernest Henley, which is a poem I refer upon whenever I need a daily reminder of why I push. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried out loud. Under the belligerence of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place is the wrath of tears, looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments to scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. And now I will lead you all in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
Board members, you have anything to say?
Any critiques?
Okay, I do. How'd you pick Invictus?
Actually, my coach, his name is Mr. Davis. Me and him talked over it like at the start of the season. And he was like, "This is a poem that really reflects who you are as a person."
Tell Mr. Davis that Reverend Clemens said that wasn't fair. The reason I say that, that's a poem that's dear to me, to many of those in the Greek family understand that poem it means so much to it. The part that you need to hang on is that you can be bloody, but you can still be unbowed. And so I commend you for that. I commend you for everything that you said today. Kudos for going to HBCU, Alcorn State University. I wish it was FAMU. However, if FAMU didn't offer you a full ride, go to where the full ride is. Alcorn State is a great school. But I heard you say that you had setbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Let me give you this as a word of encouragement. Sometimes your setbacks are setups for success. And it sounds like your setbacks are setups for success. So we commend you tonight. And please don't go anywhere yet. Stay here for a little bit because we're going to come down. We're going to take some pictures with you guys. So thank you. Y'all give him a hand
That's
tonight.
good. Thank you very much.
Parents, where are your parents? Where are your parents? Y'all give them parents a hand too as well. Thank you, Eduardo. Dr. Stacy Reese, Director of Grants and Federal Programs, please introduce the East Coast Technical Assistance Center Award recognition for A Street Elementary School.
Good evening. So we're going to continue on the theme of outstanding people and opportunities tonight. Chair Cummins, Vice Chair Campbell, Board Members Browning, Thrower, King, Attorney Powell, Dr. Gullett, and Elena. I would like to present tonight Marjorie Murray, our very recent retired Tech Director, whom is here this evening to recognize A Street with exceeding expectations and student achievement during our pre-COVID days.
Thank you, Dr. Reese. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you this evening to bring you some really, really good news. I'm the director of ECTAC, which is East Coast Technical Assistance Center, and it's a network of 47 school districts, so literally your peers in Florida. ECTAC is in the 8th year of a project called Exceeding Expectations, and it's one of the many initiatives of our center. Every year, what we do is we capture the school grade database when the state releases the database, and with a dynamic team of evaluators from across the state, we filter that database against our definition of what it is to exceed expectations. To be considered for the project, a school must be receiving Title I resources, and in the 2018-2019 school grade database, which is the one applicable for this particular award, there were 1,895 Title I schools in that database. To be an award school, a school must meet 100% of some very stringent criteria. The criterion includes being above the state median on the Florida State Assessment in the areas of English language arts and math proficiency, learning gains, lower quartile learning gains, and science, and the criteria goes on and on. Although a school must be a Title I school to be considered for the award, they are literally compared with all schools in the state because the state median is derived, which I just referenced, are derived from all schools, Title I and non-Title I schools. When we applied our filters to the database of 1,895 schools, there were only 26 schools in the entire state that met 100% of the criterion. Not 98% and not 99%, but 100% of the criteria. And following a school visit, received the Exceeding Expectations Award. And I'm pleased to announce this evening that Marion County has one of those 26 schools in the state, and that school is 8th Street Elementary. 8th Street Elementary is receiving this evening a plaque, which I have here, for the school to have, and a small check, which does not come from any public funds. And unfortunately, it is small because we're a nonprofit organization. We are your peers, and it comes from sponsors for the event. There's also an award that goes to the 2018-2019 principal, which is the applicable year for the data, and that is Mrs. Dawn Prestipino. The principal's award is smaller and it's portable, and we do that on purpose because we know that principals move from school to school and they should be able to take that award with them. So we'd like to say this evening, congratulations to 8th Street Elementary School, to its principal, Mr. Ryan Bennett, to its assistant principal, Ms. Karen Howell, and to the 2018-19 principal, Mrs. Dawn Prestipino. Congratulations also to your district leadership and to Dr. Stacy Reese, Director of Grants and Federal Programs, who efficiently and effectively brings resources to the schools, to the superintendent, Dr. Galat, and to you, the school board and chair, Mr. Cummings, because without your direction and your guidance and your support, 8th Street Elementary would not have been able to meet this very stringent criteria and exceed expectations. So thank you for allowing me to come this evening to bring you this good news and to present this award to a very deserving school, 8th Street Elementary School. And this is, yes. Not enough hands, right?
Hold up. She made sure she got that one with the check in it, right?
I said they're going to be very happy to see me tomorrow because I'm bearing gifts.
Listen, congratulations to 8th Street. We know that they're one of our many great schools in this district, and to the staff there, to this board, and to all that have put so much into it, to Mr. Bennett and Ms. Prestipino. We appreciate this recognition, but we know that it's the kids, the students, that are doing the work. So again, thank you guys so much. Thank you for this recognition and this honor. And please make sure y'all say it on the intercom tomorrow. Congratulations. Mr. Stephen Ayers, Director of School Choice Magnet Programs and Student Records, please introduce the space experiment winners for the second time from Dr. N.H. Jones.
Good evening, Pastor Chair, Madam Co-Chair, board members, Dr. Gullett, Mr. Powers, Elena Martinez-Lopez. Again, it's my pleasure and my honor, again, to introduce tonight Dr. Tierney, the coordinator of school choice, who will introduce a group of great, intelligent, motivated young individuals that have an exciting project that they're going to expand on and give you more information on tonight. So thank you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us back. Board Chair Cummings, Ms. Vice Chair, Ms. Campbell, and Board Attorney Powers, Dr. Gullett, and Ms. Martinez-Lopez. I would like to say just very quickly before I introduce Ms. Dorsey, who is the most amazing teacher who worked with this project all year so far. These students have been working on this project since August, and some of them have done as many as 80 trials for these things. So when we get an opportunity to do real science and real-world activities such as this project, it really makes us feel like we're doing the right thing. And I'm just so excited, I can barely talk, that I get to be here tonight when so much excellence is happening in the district. So Ms. Dorsey is going to introduce the students, and they will talk about their individual projects.
Thank you, and thank you for having us back. My awesome and amazing students from Dr. N.H. Jones, Soraya Chetty, y'all just step forward so they can see who you are, because you deserve. Thank you. Journey Hammond, Colin Sheldon, and Savannah Eatman, who couldn't be here tonight. And then I have my boy group over here, which is Arya Siavartham and Anahan Gopalan. And then at a certain point in time, after we found out that one of our spaceflight experiments was going to go to space, we had to redo the science and up the level of science. And we just couldn't do that at our elementary school, so we paired up with the awesome and amazing Dee Reedy from North Marion High School and two of her students from her lab, Jacob Redinger and Dalton Gentleman, and Miss Reedy, who is amazing science teacher. And we formed a partnership that we plan to continue into the future, whether we're doing the space flight experiment or other things, because it was such a valuable lesson for all of us, teachers and students. So thank you for having us back, and thank you for honoring these amazing students.
Now, we asked for these kids to come back, these young people to come back, because they had some awesome experiments. And I think sometimes we don't celebrate the things that really need to be celebrated. One of these kids, one group of these kids, these young people, the boys, and I'm not going to butcher your names, their experiment, we're going to let them tell us what their experiment is.
So our experiment was trying to send fermentation into microgravity, and what we wanted to do this because it can be used for fermented food is more healthy, it lasts longer, and the ethanol can be used for many things like gas, and it can also be used for further space research. And we wanted to see at first whether the speed in microgravity was increased, but we later changed that to the amount of ethanol created because we couldn't measure the other one. So that's mainly what we're doing.
Go ahead. Tell them what you did in the lab.
Got it. I think you just got
So I'm going to let Arya talk about what we did in the lab.
We went to North Marion High School, and they helped us run some tests to help us figure out what to do. Because originally we had a problem to where the lids on our test tubes would keep coming out because of the carbon dioxide. So we had to use charcoal to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide. And we need a spectrophotometer to help measure the amount of ethanol produced.
Thank you, Art. The two gentlemen from North Marion, that was with that project as well. Don't go anywhere yet. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, I'm Jacob Reidinger.
So,
we mostly helped to further the development of this project as it was kind of presented to us, and we were to take the next step forward in tweaking small details and making sure all amounts were correct.
thank you. And how many trials? How many trials?
I'd prefer not to count.
I know the number. It was a lot of trials, correct?
Yes.
More than 79, right?
I believe so, sir.
Good, let's go.
So I wonder, you gentlemen who are now in high school, if you had the opportunity to do a project like that when you were 11 years old, do you think it would have furthered your abilities now? I mean, as high school students, I mean, what do you think of these 11-year-olds that are doing this kind of work?
Definitely. If I had been here, again, I was not in this position. I'm not as smart as they were at that age. Personally, I would have loved to do this, but again, it's amazing they came up with this, and I would have never thought of it.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Would you describe what it was like? Did it launch? Did it go on?
It's going up in space.
It's going, it hasn't gone yet.
Correct.
Hasn't gone yet.
Hasn't gone yet. But describe, just briefly, like what it's going to look like. Like, is it a container this big, a container that big, that type of thing? Just a little description.
Okay. It's about a tube only about pen size, and this container is supposed to fit about 4 different chemicals, one of which is water, glucose, yeast, and salt. Thank you very much. So each of these are going to go up in this small little container, and I believe the astronauts are only going to interact with them twice.
Wonderful. Wow. All right. Okay, I'm getting the picture. This is incredible. This is incredible. Because we're landing rockets, we're sending them up, we're landing them back, we're refueling, we're sending them back. All of these things really matter, and how we make things work during a space flight. It will be something you all will have pioneered. The understanding. All of those chemicals, all of those molecules, all of those principles, once they're in space, they change slightly. But then the E = mc squared type thing, and what happens? Wow, I am so impressed. I'm so impressed with you all. Congratulations, my goodness.
Thank you. Ms. Thora?
I have a question. So it sounds to me like you're trying to figure out what happens to fermentation in space, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your experiment will go up in next month, or when?
It's been delayed currently a little while.
Okay.
Due
All
to-
right. I ask because I subscribe to spotthestation.nasa.gov. And so I'm really going to be watching for this space station with interest once I hear that your experiment's going up. I'll be like, there goes North Marion High. There goes Dr. N.H. Jones. That is so cool.
Hello, my name is Dalton Gentleman, and I'm now talking. So, a little bit of what I did in the experiment is I was just kind of in Miss Reedy's class, and Miss Reedy was like, "Hey, can you come help me with something?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I was introduced to Miss Dorsey, right there, and she pretty much explained the experiment to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is super cool. I'm glad I can get involved in it." And I just started helping like create different types of the experiment, because we had a ton of trials. They didn't all work, so we had to change it quite a bit. So I could just kind of help after the experiment was already created, just kind of furthering it. But it's these two right here. They are extremely smart for their age, and I would not be in space right now if I was their age. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I sat with them for a while at Dr. N.H. Jones a couple weeks ago, and they went through their experiment. They got so analytical. I think my head was going to explode, because they were just dropping this knowledge on us about this experiment, and they said that this fermentation process, one of the byproducts of this fermentation process is ethanol. And all of us know what's going on with the price of gas. And I told them they need to hurry up and get this process taken care of, so the price of gas, so we can work on some prices of gas. So again, I want to congratulate these kids. They won number one. Their actual project is actually going in space, hopefully sometimes this summer. And they did a tremendous job. So we want to give them another hand, these young men. And their parents, because they can't do this type of work or think like this unless they've had some support from home. And then I have the opportunity to go back and see the girl group.
So girls rock science too.
Yes, they do.
And this group of girls right here, plus Savannah Eatman, who's not here, actually had the runner-up experiment for space.
Correct.
I'm going to let them talk about it and their plans for the future.
Hi, my name is Sayara Chetty, and I will be talking a little bit about our experiment. Our experiment is about E. coli because it is an area of interest for all four of us. In our initial research, we found out that E. coli lives on the inner and outer surfaces of the ISS. And then in the research we did with scientists across the nation, we found out that there are many solutions to neutralize E. coli. At first, we had chose to use imatazolium oligomers, which is a powder that you can use to neutralize E. coli. We were going to use that for a while, but then we realized that we couldn't purchase it. So we landed on isopropyl alcohol because of its availability. That comes to our question: can isopropyl alcohol kill E. coli in microgravity?
So when we originally did imidazolium oligomers, it was known to kill E. coli in 30 seconds, but then it's from Singapore, so we found out we couldn't get it. So we decided to change to isopropyl alcohol because it's available more, and also it kills E. coli efficiently, but not as much as imidazolium oligomers.
So since we got second place, we were going to do our project again next year, but edit it a little bit. So we're hoping to do it again with the new edits we got from the space program and make sure we can do it next year.
Thank you. Y'all give these young ladies, and they got me with the word imidazolium oligomers. Did I say it right?
No.
Close.
Imatazolium oligomers.
That's it. That one. Yeah, what she said. And they could not get this product because it's only in Singapore. And so what they have committed to do is to come back. They all will be going to middle school next year. They're going to come back and continue to work on this project. And hopefully they'll be the first place winners for next year, and their experiment will go up in space on next year. So I'm grateful to Ms. Dorsey for being their teacher, but for not just letting the science stop at the end of their 5th grade year. It's going to be something that's going to continue, and they'll be able to come back. I've gotten the commitment from the parents. The parents say, yeah, we want them to continue this project because and let me say this, all these kids are friends. All of them are friends, their families are friends, so they're not strangers. It was a friendly competition, and I think we're going to get two experiments from Dr. N.H. Jones going in space in the next 2 years. So y'all give these kids a wonderful hand, big hand, because of what they did. And their parents as well, and definitely to Ms. Dorsey. Board members, I'm going to ask that I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. King.
I didn't have a chance to speak earlier, so I was like, oh, I don't want this to go. I'll just make a comment rather than ask questions, and I just want to tell you guys are brilliant. You were throwing out words, I had no idea what they are. So when you say in high school you wouldn't have been as smart as they are, I'm many years above that. I'm still not as smart as you guys are. But I saw other things tonight besides just being brilliant. I heard your teacher speak about when you had a project and it failed. You guys persevered. You didn't stop. And that speaks mounds. And that's why you guys are first and second places, because you never stopped. You had the tenacity, perseverance. You guys just have great work ethic. It's my understanding that you guys would stay an hour after school every day for a couple months, at least 4 days a week. That speaks volumes. And so thank you so much for your partnerships, your parents, and Miss Dorsey is wonderful. She is a wonderful advocate for her students at all schools. I think I've been following her around for a few schools, and this is probably our third school. And so thank you for being an advocate. And also, young ladies, I don't know if you heard today, but today is International Women's Day, and you guys represent us well.
Shout out to Ms. Reedy as well from North Marion. Thank you, Ms. Reedy. Thank you for the collaboration between elementary school and a high school. Thank you, because we need to see those type of collaborations within our school district. So thank you guys so much. Don't go anywhere. Kev, bring them all down front. Board members, we're going to go down and take a picture with these brilliant folk, because one day they're going to be in the Smithsonian and we need to say we had a picture of them. Superintendent, you too.
So we'll ask you all to come down here.
Those of you in the audience, you're welcome to come up and take photos. Crazy. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on, you guys.
It's amazing.
Go ahead, Anybody else?
Kevin,
Come on
you're
up.
going to take one with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you. Sister.
It was good seeing you. Goodness gracious. What a winner. Golly.
Sorry.
Leave.
Have a good one.
We're so proud of him. He is. The discipline he has to do everything he's done it's honestly inspirational for me. And I love
All of us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Superintendent?
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. Boy, they set the bar, don't they? That's
They do.
remarkable. I recommend approval of the agenda for March 8th, 2022, school board meeting with the materials in the board packet, those materials distributed to board members at the meeting, and the audio recording included as part of the official record of the meeting, with the exception of the items D18.1, D19.1, D19.2, D19.3, D19.4, D19.5, and D19.6 that have been placed under discussion, and items C7.1, C11.1, C13.2, and C17.1 that have been pulled and placed under discussion.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Thor,
Second.
seconded by Vice Chair Campbell. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed have the same signs. Passed unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the December 14th, 2021 school board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell.
Second.
Seconded by Board Member King. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the January 6th, 2022 administrative briefing and work session?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. King,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Campbell. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed have the same sign. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the January 11th, 2022 school board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell,
Second.
seconded by Board Member King. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. I'll now ask the school board's attorney to explain the rules governing persons who wish to address the school board on tonight.
Thank you, Reverend Cummings. In compliance with Section 286.0114 of Florida statutes, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who wish to speak at tonight's meeting, either regarding one of tonight's agenda items or a matter relating to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures is available from the table on the lobby. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms were due to the school board's clerk no later than 5:40 p.m. Tonight's speakers will be called prior to the business portion of the school board's meeting in the order of receipt by the school board clerk. Before you begin speaking, please state your full name and address for the record and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 5 minutes of time. However, if there are more than 5 persons who wish to speak, the board may seek consensus to limit each speaker's time to 3 minutes. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Therefore, verbal attacks and profanity are strictly prohibited. Pursuant to the procedures for public comments, item 6, speakers are not to identify specific individuals other than themselves or their child unless the statement is provided 24 hours in advance. The board is here to listen to your comments only. You may be directed to an administrator staff member following the conclusion of your comments for further assistance to address your concerns. If there are matters dealing with student discipline, including expulsions, they will be scheduled at the conclusion of the televised portion of this meeting. Parents may address the board regarding a discipline matter at that time. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use a student's first or last name. Identifying references to or identification of other students and/or their families are also strictly prohibited. A public speaker's speech does not reflect the endorsement, sponsorship, position, or expression of the school district. Thank you for your attention to the board's requirements. Chair Cummings, that concludes my explanatory remarks.
Thank you. Ms. Martinez-Lopez, do we have any speakers for tonight?
Yes, we have one speaker, Mr. Gary White.
Mr. Gary White.
Hello, friends of the school board. I'm Gary White. I represent Tea Party. I expressly want to restate the importance of parents getting involved in this meeting. We have you as parents way out in our large county of 350,000 people, and we need input. These folks are here to do you a job. They need your praise, and they need your concerns. They don't know absolutely everything that is going on in our schools, and they need your input. It is so important. Please, parents, come to this meeting. Get involved in a deeper way with your child's education. We listened to Mr. Ayers the other night at Tea Party. He gave us a very eloquent and great understanding of his position. We at Tea Party were very impressed, and we noted extremely that the performance in the charter school was impressive. We're here to examine. We want you to examine. We want dollars to count. We want to give each item a little more conversation and a little more work. We think that there's money there that could be spent in other ways after examination that might make a big difference just in reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's what we're all about. So may I say it's been good talking to you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. White. May I have a motion to approve consent agenda items C 7.1 through C 17.2 with the exception of items D 18.1, D 19.1, D 19.2, D 19.3, D 19.4, D 19.5, and D 19.6 that have been placed on discussion, and items C 7.1, C 11.1, C 13.2, and C 17.1 that have been pulled and placed under discussion. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Vice Chair Campbell, seconded by Board Member Throer. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same sign. Passed unanimously. May I have a motion to approve or amend resolution resolution number 2202, amending the school board policy 6.502, approval of leave for specified reasons directly related to the COVID-19 pandemic. There is an amended resolution. I'm sorry. This is an amended resolution because we just had a meeting on this one. The amendments would include Section 5, Page 2, the removal of the word designee, and Section 6, the removal of the word designee, which is also on Page 2. Also, the removal of or take unpaid leave from Section 5 on Page 2. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Throer.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. King. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. May I have a motion to approve grant application 2021-2022 IDA Part B K-12 ARP and 2021-2022 IDA Part B preschool ARP.
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Throer. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to approve grant application, safety and security school building?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. King,
Second.
seconded by Vice Chair Campbell. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Pass unanimously. May I have a motion to schedule 2 public hearings for the 2021-2022 recommended instructional materials for adoption of 16 specified courses?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Throer,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Campbell. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the Second Amendment with Power School Group, LLC?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell,
Second.
seconded by Board Member King. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the First Amendment Memorandum of Understanding with Marion Education Association, MEA, for the current identified turnaround option plan, schools for 2021-2022 school year?
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Throer,
Second.
seconded by Vice Chair Campbell. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the Memorandum of Understanding with the Marion Education Association?
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Throer, need a second, guys.
Second.
Seconded by Board Member King. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the First Amendment with Jigsaw Learning, LLC?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell, just need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Board Member King. Mr. Brown, I understand you pulled item C7.1. You wish to have further discussion?
Yes, sir. The reason I pulled this was because the amount's rather large, and I'm in favor of it. The amount's rather large, and it isn't really routine in my estimation. What I'd like to see with this one is use it as an example so that we negotiate in deeper. I really don't like having items, large size items in $100,000 plus range that they will not exceed a certain amount. It's, I would like to see a kind of a championing of the efforts by our purchasing departments to really get in a contest, to really go after items like this, so that it may not sound like a lot, but 10% of a number like this is $25,000, and we do so much. We're so big that things like this can really it can really pay off in revenue, in keeping and enlarging our checkbook, if you will. So that's the reason it's. I don't think it's really a consent item. I'd like to see these out, and when we make some headway with something like this, at least have the opportunity, like some of the other items we brought up tonight, have the opportunity to celebrate the successes, because you just don't know where they come, where they come from. But this was this is a $225,000 extension, and it's pretty big money. So that was my reason for bringing it up. I am in favor of it, and that concludes my comments, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same signs. Passed unanimous. May I have a motion to approve the disposition of tangible property?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Browning. Mr. Browning, I understand you pulled this item C 11.1. You wish to have further discussion?
Yes, and the key here is on the same theme. I'll okay this one. I'll vote in favor of it, but it's $250,000. It's, let's see, 350,000 round numbers of value that we have. Now, I want to see, and I'm beginning to get traction on this with phone calls, with interest, with people saying, wow, yeah, I didn't realize this. I'd like to see the survey committee remove the items from our inventory, but we've got this level of value, and there's just so many ways to make money on these. Some of these are $1 million items when they come up. So I want to retain the value to the extent we can. It's just good business. So that's the reason I brought it up. I'd like every single one of these to come up because people get the drift. And once they get the drift, then maybe they bid on it. Maybe ideas germinate, get going. We might end up with years from now, just making significant money on the disposal of items, even if it's down to the raw core materials like these kids were talking about on a molecular level. They're taking batteries today and they're breaking them down to the original atoms, and atoms never wear out. It's just an exciting place for me. So that was the reason I brought it up. That'll conclude my remarks. $250,000 is a big deal to me.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And let me add some clarity to that, and I appreciate you pulling it, Mr. Browning. It is $349,594.30, the original cost. However, all of this equipment has been in use within our district. It's about 82 different items, and they have fully depreciated. Some of those items include some food service equipment, some ice machine that doesn't work anymore. One of the items is a 52-year-old storage portable at Dunellen High School, and the portable has been deemed unsafe, and the certificate of occupancy has been revoked. And I'm stating this for clarity because sometimes people hear that number of 300, like we're just throwing away $350,000. It's not the case, and you're bringing light to that. Some of these things have been, will be salvaged as much as we can salvage. Others are sold at auctions. We sell at Weeks Auction. We have a contract with them. Some of the technology pieces are e-wasted, and anything that can be scrapped for valuable metals or traded in for new equipment or donated by board action or cannibalized for parts. To this date, and just to give you some numbers, Mr. Brown, in case you want to write these down, to this date, as of last year, the things that we sent through Weeks Auction generated revenue of $181,152.60. So far this year, the current revenue generated from Weeks Auction is $87,119.40. The other place that we have contract with is Trademark Metals, where they pull out those metals that are that can be salvaged. Last year, our revenue that we received from Trademark Metals was $245.47. We hit that $10,000 number that you always talk about. And this year so far, we've created a revenue of $6,810.05. So all that revenue that comes back from us doing these goes into miscellaneous revenue, and it shows on the general fund as miscellaneous revenue. So I don't want the community to think that we're just giving stuff away. We're doing whatever we can to e-waste it or to salvage it or to scrap it and to auction it off, and there is something that comes back. Of course, we're not going to get the full cost that we spent. However, we're getting something back, so just for clarity.
Chair, that is exactly my point. These dollars coming back, when they get out there, when we discuss this, and they get out there in the public, people are thinking, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I might like to get into that, on the vendor side. And when we have, this adds up to $250,000, $250,000, and it was probably, I'm just doing some quick math, about $7 million worth of items, but those are old. Now, the car that you trade in is not, worth what you paid for it when you bought it new. We know that. But the exciting part is maybe a museum is looking, and maybe this, and maybe that, and maybe something else, and it all turns into money. So I really appreciate you bringing it up, because that's exactly my point. That is it. And I'm not saying we're supposed to go get that original purchase price. No, I'm saying that we have value, and I want to maximize it. It's like that. We're trading in a car. Maybe somebody's a collector and might really, really get their checkbook out.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All ready for a vote? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed have the same signs. Pass unanimously. May I have a motion to approve to utilize Sourcewell Contract 081721-NIU for the purchase of portable restroom facility?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell,
I'll second.
seconded by Board Member Browning. Mr. Browning, I understand you pulled item C 13.2. You wish to have further discussion?
Yes, and this is exciting because we just went through it. We were all trying to figure out how in the world to get restrooms to the folks that were utilizing the restrooms in our old building when we were at our old board meeting location. And I was concerned about it. They were going across the street, they were doing this, they were doing that, and this is a solution, and it's a solid solution, and I thought it was important to bring it out. It's a responsible solution, and it's the correct way to do it, and I thought it was very important to kind of celebrate such a positive move for those employees that males and females and everybody going in whatever direction, and they were down to cutting off across the street and what have you. So this is exciting to me, and I just wanted to bring it forward. The district is getting the job done for their employees.
Thank you, Mr. Browning.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Ready for vote? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the installation of door and window opening barriers as part of the hurricane shelters retrofit at Saddlewood Elementary School, change order number 1, work authorization number 4, project number 2111.
So moved.
Moved by Board Member King,
Second.
seconded by two board members, Board Member Thor. Mr. Brown, I understand you pulled item C 17.1. You wish to have further discussion?
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. So again, this is about money. At Saddlewood, we got back $100,000. All right. That's a big deal to me. That $100,000 needs to be spoken about and not go in. It's not routine, and I don't consent for it to go in. It has to be celebrated. Now, did we get out there and get the job done? Somebody did. There's $100,000 that went back into the account, and I like that. I didn't pull another one because I can make the same point at Bellevue Middle. It was $36,000. Doesn't sound like a whole bunch when you're blowing, you have a budget of $700 million plus, but it's a lot. It's a lot of money. And, bus drivers, teachers, whomever, it's a lot of money. So, great opportunity here to toot the horn for our people getting the job done. It's possible we bid too much, or, we put too much in. Okay, I get that. But I would rather see it as somebody doing something right because somebody was on that job and made sure that we did not overspend, even though it could have been overdone and we would have been out that money. So somebody really nailed it, and whoever you are out there, we're trying to get the superintendent to know exactly who you are because you really nailed it, you got the job done, and hooray to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, we all love our deductive change orders, and thankfully we have a strong history of them. And anyone that wants to know who these people are, it's easy to find out. We've got Barb Dobbins, we've got Robert Knight, their whole team working very hard and diligently every day. I know they appreciate the shout out, would love a phone call, anything to personally show our gratitude. So great job, guys and ladies.
Vice Chair Campbell.
And I also wanted to say, Board Member Browning, you essentially took some words out of my mouth, because in my board comments tonight, I was going to talk about how much I appreciate that we have saved $136,000 here. But I also want to express, just so we're not considering this a big lump sum that we now get to put towards something else. These dollars are going back essentially into our special revenue fund that is the Hurricane Shelter Retrofit Grant. So it's not that we can use these dollars that we've saved to just use on any other project. Any of our hurricane shelter retrofits is where this money is going to go back into, and so we'll be able to then enhance somewhere else or something else that we're doing. But because of that special revenue fund, while I'm grateful, and certainly grateful every time we can save money, it's not just money we can reallocate to something else. So that's what I want to say.
We wish you could go to bus drivers and
I know,
teachers.
that'd be great.
Yeah. Ms. King?
Yeah, and I would also, again, send thank you to Ms. Barb Dobbins and Mr. Knight and also Preston Boland, because he was very instrumental in guiding us and showing us as a district how to find these grants. So I just didn't want to leave him out either.
Yes, that's, I was going to bring up Preston too, because oftentimes it's a collaboration on how we get some of these grants into the district, and Preston was very instrumental because this is one grant that benefits the community at large, not just the school. This is providing a safe shelter for when hurricanes come our way. So I thank Mr. Browning for celebrating the money that's coming back, the deductive order. But I also want to say that we have a lot of deductive orders that come through. Some are big, some are small, but every penny that comes back to a cause, to the district, is a penny well earned and a penny well saved. So we have them a lot. I thank the team for what they do to make sure that we are being good stewards of the money that we get through this district, because we do have funds that come through and sometimes people don't pay attention to what it is. But as far as what comes back, people may not see it, but we have a lot of these deductive change orders that do come back. Not on everyone, but we do have a lot that come back, and I thank the team for what they do on a daily basis and making sure that it gets back. We do wish it would be great if we can just take it and allocate that money somewhere else, but unfortunately that's not how it works. So, but thank you. So all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the following cash or tangible donations that have a total value of $10,531.97. Picnic hams value at $1,613.24 to Anthony Elementary School from Quality Discount Meats. $5,000 to Bellevue High School from Mid-Florida Logistics Inc. $1,000 to Dunellen High School from Furniture Selections Inc., DBA Badcock and more. $2,918.73 to Marion County Public Schools Secondary Curriculum Instruction and Digital Learning from Ed L. Hall. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell, seconded by Board Member Thor. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed have the same sign, pass unanimously. Ms. King, can you thank the public tonight?
I sure will. On behalf of the Marion County School Board, thank you so much for your generous donations. And I believe, it's kind of hard for me to tell, but I think Mr. Hall is out there in the audience tonight. So I am going to just eyeball you and give you a very special thank you so much for caring and sharing your donations with our schools. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Is he out there? I thought I saw him.
And I've got him in my board comments too. Y'all are just stepping all over my, I'm just kidding.
He has some stuff coming up, don't he?
We're all claiming him tonight.
He has some stuff coming up, so thank you, Mr. Hall, for being here tonight. Thank you for being a supporter of the district. We appreciate it. The following special administrative briefing and work sessions are scheduled for March 29th, 2022 and March 30th, 2022 at 9 a.m. The purpose of the special work session is to discuss the Neola policy review. The next administrative briefing and work session is scheduled for April 7th, 2022 at 9 o'clock a.m. The purpose of the work session is to discuss annual review of alternative learning programs, self-funded health plan 1 of 2, 2022, update in 2023 funding projection, summer school 2022, and achieve 2026 strategic plan update goal 2. Excuse me. We're at the end of this part. Superintendent, you have anything?
I have just a few. Thank you, Chair, members of the board. I wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to, again, recognize it's International Women's Day, as Ms. King said earlier, and want to, again, recognize our outstanding women employees and board members for all that you all do to support students, so thank you. Also want to do a gentle reminder, I'm sure I don't have to do this, but I'm going to say it anyway, that spring break is upon us beginning on Monday. And so please, students, be safe, enjoy your time. Staff, well-deserved break. I hope you're doing something very enjoyable, and we look forward to having everybody back safely the following week. Last but not least, it's a bit sad to say this, but I'm proud to say that our own Tom Lauder, who is just around the corner over here, will be retiring after serving Marion County for 37 years. He has, in my time here, I found him to be a true gentleman and a consummate professional. So wanted to recognize and thank him for all of his service.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you, thank you. And it is his last board meeting, so I wanted to make sure to point that out.
Last one, Mr. Lauder. Nothing you want to say on camera? I mean, you've been behind the camera all these years, don't you? Don't you think you need to say something on camera? Turn the camera on him. Turn the camera on him. Zoom in. Get a close up.
Give us your best adios, something.
Say something, Mr. Lauder. Thank you.
Congratulations.
No, thank you for all the years. Kev, I know I just messed up all your directives, but that was well worth it. Thank you, Mr. Lauder. Ms. Martinez-Lopez?
No, sir.
Attorney Powers?
Nothing from legal, sir.
All right. We're going to start with Mr. Brown tonight.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, so let's see. An item that I rarely touch, this consent program. I am so taken, I so appreciate all the comments, because that is exactly the key. The digging in, it's so positive, and it is not a negative situation when you bring things up and put them on the table, because look at the positive nature of what comes from it. Congratulations, recognition, so many positive things and ideas. And it's getting better. Great comments, and I appreciate the tolerance, because it's a little bit different, a little bit new with my reign on the board. Next item is I'd like to have some conversation and introduce the idea of this stage is actually twice, maybe a tiny bit more, but I'm not going to quibble about minute things. It's about twice our size that we operated with all those years. And if we set up, I did a diagram, and I'd like to continue pushing in that direction. I did a diagram of starting at that side and going to here and having tables set so that we were safe, and having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, double what we had before, plenty of room for everybody to hear. And if we get more people my age on board, they'll be able to hear a whole lot better. I mean, we are echoing around in here. It's like Yankee Stadium to someone like myself. I don't know if everybody has to speak to it their own way, but we could have that for our overflow. We always had overflow, but they could never participate. They had to look at the TV screen. We had the room in here, and I'm describing our old position, our old boardroom. We had room in here, and often the visitors couldn't come because it had employees, or the employees couldn't be there because it had the other. Now everybody can. And if we look this way, instead of look this way and be so spread out, we could easily, this is almost double what we had before in terms of our ideas. So I just think we would be able to hear so often, like some of these youngsters that were talking today, it's just really hard with that microphone to handle it. So I'm not saying it would fix everything, but we could have people seeing, people hear, people testifying, talking, close activity to our clerks and our law people. It was just, to me, we're not utilizing this correctly from a communications point of view. Just a comment that I want to make, and I would love to have some input back. And I want to recognize the Ocala Police Department here. That is a beautiful, beautiful addition. It's just appropriate. It's the way we've run, say, the county commission for all those years. We always had an SRO there of some sort. Usually it was a contract with the sheriff's department. But this is tremendous, and I want to welcome you, sir, as a beautiful asset to our board meetings. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Ms. Thor?
Thank you. Oh, gosh, yes. Spring break coming fast upon us. I know we're all ready, and I know we're going to come back rejuvenated and ready to take it to the end of the year in a way probably that this district has never seen, and it's just going to be wonderful. I feel so grateful that we've made it as far as we have. And this year somehow still managed to go by so quickly in the midst of all of the challenges. So my hat is off to every single employee, every single school board member for everything that you've done to keep the ship sailing. I can't believe that we're 3/4 of the year over, just about. It's something else. So it gives me a lot of just encouragement for, I'm already looking forward to next year. Some people may want to throw some tomatoes at me for that statement, but I like to keep looking forward and also celebrating everything that we've accomplished along the way. Great things to come. And speaking of some great things, I always enjoy getting the input that I receive from so many areas and cross-section of the community. And it was actually a community member that had made the suggestion to me that in the conversation of the consent agenda, having it be more delineated, what is a consent item and what isn't. So for those of you that have been paying attention in class, you've probably noticed the new format tonight. And it does make it more user-friendly. We also are thinking about trying to come up with a user-friendly list of acronyms, because in the world of education, we throw acronyms around like water, and not everyone understands what they mean, and it makes it a lot easier for people to follow our conversations if they feel that they really understand all of those acronyms. So that's also just in the name of the community conversation, that improvements that we're constantly looking at, listening to, and trying to implement wherever we can. We have so many parents, caregivers, teachers, employees of all kinds that watch from home. We're so blessed to have the YouTube channel so that anyone can go back probably for many, many years to come and look back at our board meetings, because let's face it, you know, we have a lot of warehouses here in town, and we have a lot of folks that work, you know, second shift, third shift, medical providers that work overnight. So it's wonderful for them to be able to follow our conversations and our meetings and fast forward and really get the essence of what we're doing. And that was something that wasn't always the case. So it's really good that we have that. The last thing that I had is that I would like Coach Ed Hall, if you wouldn't mind, Coach Hall, to just take a step up here. We've been working together for several years, and also other board members, I think, have been aware of Coach Hall's quest to bring the educational awareness of the world, especially to our high school students. And this was exemplified by a little research trial that Coach Hall did. He is a support facilitator, a special needs support facilitator at Vanguard High School. And this wasn't just about kids with documented special needs. It was actually kids in very high-performing classrooms that it became clear in Coach Hall's eyes that further education needed to be done in the area of geography and just orientation of where we are in the United States of America in location compared to other countries. So I felt it was really important, because this has been a quest for a while to get those world maps into the hands of teachers. I think you brought one with you tonight just to show how big it really is, and what your goals have been for this. It truly has been a mission, and you were not going to be dissuaded, and I'm so grateful that you weren't. So take it away, sir.
I visited with Beth McCall over a year ago, and I used the term "see something, do something." So you're right. No, I wanted it done, and I'm thankful that the board and the superintendent, Mr. Ingram, Mr. Frazier, worked with me to get this done. A year ago, this time, last year, I was talking to one of our students, not a Vanguard student, another kid, but he was a highly recruited basketball player. I've got a long history in basketball. So I had spoken with coaches from Boston College. And they called him, and he didn't pick up. And I said, "Hey, did you get that call from Boston College?" And he said, "I don't know." He said, "I saw a number, I didn't recognize it, so I didn't answer." I said, "Well, no, this is how recruiting works. They're going to call you, and you're going to talk to them. And if it's too far away from home, you say, 'That's too far away, thank you for your interest.'" And I could tell he's clueless. So I said, "This is Boston College, okay? This is not Podink U." I said, "Boston College is in the ACC." Blank look on his face. I said, "Do you know what that means?" "No." "Atlantic Coast Conference." Can you think of some other schools that might be in the Atlantic Coast Conference? Missouri? Well, no. How about, try again, Texas? No. Arizona State? These are his answers to me. So I said, "Well, think of states that border the Atlantic Ocean." No idea. This really happened. So this fall, I went into 5 English classes at Vanguard, handed out index cards, told them this is a survey, you don't have to put your name on it, it's not a test, nobody's going to know what you write down on this card. If you don't know, put "I don't know." Of course, they wrote IDK. And I said, "Name 5 states that border the Atlantic Ocean." 5 classes, 2 ninth grade, 2 seniors, and 1 10th grade class. 40% easily could not do it. I know it's sad. I know we're celebrating some great successes here this afternoon, this evening. Thank God I didn't have to follow those elementary school kids. So then I said to Miss Guest at Bellevue High School, "Well, let's try it down there." She polled 2 of her English classes, same results. One of the classes at Vanguard was the pre-IB 9th grade class. Now that's the best of best. 20 kids, 12 of them could do it, 8 of them could not do it. That's sad, folks. I know the state of Florida took geography out of the curriculum several years ago. Okay, let's do something about it. So my thought is, if we have maps, these maps, in classrooms from what is it, what's 5th, 6th, and 7th, no, 6th, 7th, and 8th, middle school and high school, that's 7 years of maps on a wall. And every story you read has a setting. It happens someplace. This is a 9th grade literature book. I'm looking at the first, collection 1, A Quilt of a Country by Anna Quedlin. It mentions about 30 different countries in that little 2-page story, or actually it was a newspaper article. The Gettysburg Address, gosh, I wonder where that happened. The Vietnam War, gosh, I wonder where that happened, okay? 2 of the top stories that 10th graders read are The Most Dangerous Game. It starts out in the Caribbean Ocean. They're going to the Amazon. The captain of the boat is a grizzled old Swede, and the antagonist is General Zoroff. Gosh, I wonder where he's from. The other story they read is, What of This Goldfish Would You Wish? It's a Jewish boy in Israel, and it's a young man who moved from Russia to get away from Russia to live in Israel. Both Jewish boys, but they speak different languages. One of the teachers that I work with, when they did that particular story, in order to show why a knock at the door was troubling for the young Sergei from Russia, she actually showed them video of Nikita Khrushchev banging his shoe on the table on the podium in the United States Congress. Only Mr. Browning's old enough to remember that. The rest of us are, the rest of you, not us, I'm with you, Mr. Browning. Okay, we saw it on TV, saying, we will bury you. That's what Khrushchev said to us in 1964 or 5 or something, one of those years. So she, sir?
We'll bury you from within.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said, yes. But she felt the need to portray to the students why Sergei would be so troubled by having a stranger knock at his door. Folks, I'm not asking us to do geography lessons, okay? That's Russia. This is Marion County, Florida. Okay? You do that for 7 years, 6th through 12th, some kids are going to get a clue. They're going to figure out something that, okay, because we know that one class I went in, this was not one of the 7 classes that I just did it off the top of my head with a smaller class. Dual enrollment kids. These kids are taking courses at CF. Okay, these are now dummies. I posed the question. The kid says, I said, name us 5 states on the Atlantic Ocean that border the Atlantic Ocean. He said, is that the one on the right or the left? Yes, gosh, yes. So my suggestion to Mr. Ingram, Dr. Gullett, was next year, don't throw this in on the teachers in the last quarter of this year. When the maps are available, all I asked Mr. Ingram was, and Dr. Gullett, put them on the wall and encourage our English teachers to reference them when it is called for. Don't have to take a long time and take away from your lesson, but they all happen somewhere. Every story happens someplace. And they happen in the United States and across the country. So anyway, that's the deal. That's where it came from. That's why I did it. It wasn't just something off the top of my head. A conversation with a player who has now signed a scholarship. He's going to graduate from our school system. He's going to be in college next year, and he's a very good player. Hopefully, hopefully he knows that when you go to Daytona Beach, that's the Atlantic Ocean over there, okay? Most of them don't know that. I promise you that Russia, Israel, please, they have no idea. I will Dr. Cummings over there mentioned I have a few projects going on. I'm going to take a moment to throw those at you. All of you got an invitation. We have 2 projects. One we did last year for the first time, the Coaches Appreciation Party. It's called MESB's, Marion County Excellence in Sports Performance, not participation, performance by youth. That's my little deal. I'm Mr. Mesby. Last year, Ms. Campbell came, Ms. Thrower came, Mr. Cummings came. All of you invited. It's going to be April 2nd at the Livestock Pavilion, outdoors. I've got Celebrity Soul Food is sponsoring along with me. The food's going to be drop dead good, and they've just taken this and run with it. Last year it was myself pretty much. But I happened to meet the owner of Celebrity Soul Foods, terrific person, Dr. Frederick Jacobs. And so he and his family and his team are amazing. So we're going to bump it up. I would hope that the district would urge our coaches to attend. Last year, I invited over 200 coaches. We had 125 people. That's not good enough. This year, we expanded the invitation list. Every coach who is supplemented. So if they're getting paid something by the school board to be a coach at one of our schools, that's about 320 people. They were all invited. The emails went out this week. And it's a +1, so that's 600 people or so that could attend. We're capping it at 400. I hope we have to go over the 400. So if we can get a push from the school board, Dr. Gullett and your people, Mr. Tucker, to get on our coaches to get it done. All they have to do is RSVP. You all got, did everybody raise your hand there? Ms. Campbell, I know you got one. I know Ms. Thrower got one. Mr. Cummings.
I've already
Ms. King, did you get one?
Yeah, send
okay.
me another one.
Good.
I've already RSVP'd, Ms.
RSVP, we got to hear from you. Okay, we need to know what you're doing. And then the other project, which is in its 4th year, is called the MESPES Awards for Athletes. That's any student, Eduardo will be one of them, I spoke to him. Any of our athletes who were selected by the Star Banner to be first team, all Marion County, are invited to this auditorium. We'll bring them up on the stage. We have food for them. I'm working with Rondo on that one, with Mojo's. We did this 3 years ago here. I had an athletic director in this county tell me you'd be lucky to get 50 people. We had 250. That whole side was full. This whole side was full. This whole side was full. That was empty over there. We had 250 people. So we expect that to go really well this year. Second time around, so we know more about it. The last 2 years, we did this on Twitter because we couldn't come in here and have a big meeting like this. And, of course, it lost some of its luster on Twitter, but the kids who participated on Twitter had fun. We actually gave away a $1,000 scholarship live on Twitter for one of Rondo's little scholarship there through the FCA. So that's what I do. I appreciate Ms. Thrower for you letting me come up here and have a few words. And good luck to the rest of you. Have a good day. We'll hopefully see you on April the 2nd. Wear your blue jeans. I saw you had blue jeans on there, Pastor. You'll be dressed perfectly for that event. It's at the Livestock Pavilion in the main pavilion this year. We moved on up.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And so, and I think you probably know Mr. Jacobs. They don't do things halfway. No. They really go after it. Okay. Yeah. Great family, great person, and he and I say God made us meet.
All right.
Okay, God made us meet. He's got a young boy who's a basketball player. I'm the basketball guy, and this is I'm going to tell you this is so funny. I had a what you call this thing, a pacemaker put in, and I had a week down. It was not a very comfortable week. So the end of the week comes, and back in June, and I just want to go get a straight razor hot towel shave. So I called 4 places to get a hot towel shave on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning. Nobody had it. No, person's not here. We're too booked. I can get you Monday, this, that, and the other. Finally picked up, and Daryl picks up, and he says, yeah, I'm busy. I can get you at 4:30. I got nothing to do. I got a pacemaker put in my chest. Go out there at 4:30, sit around, start talking. Later on, I'm laying back. I got the shaving cream on here. Dr. Jacobs walks in. I have no idea who this man is. I can't see him. I'm laying down. And by now, the barber knew that I had some coaching background. He says, oh, we got all the famous people in here. We got Coach Ed here, and we got Dr. J. I don't know who he is. Next thing you know, we're talking. Dr. J is who he is, and his son is 6'4" and is in the 8th grade. Miss Campbell knows who he is. A wonderful young man. And so he and I started working his boy out and teaching him a few things and stuff. And later on, I said, you know, that's amazing that I just happened to be there at 4:30 on Saturday afternoon. I've never been to that barbershop in my life. and was just feeling really blah, and I needed to do something to pep myself up. He said, we were supposed to be there at 2:30. We got caught in traffic, and I called and canceled, and Daryl said, no, come on in at 4:30. I've only got one guy then. We say God made that happen, okay, because we've been pretty tight since then.
It's called divine intervention.
That's it. That's it. That's your area, isn't it?
That's my area.
Okay. I know
That's
you know,
his area.
You know some stuff about that. Okay. Well, I was raised in First Baptist Church, St. Petersburg, Florida, so I know about it. Okay. Hallelujah. All right. Good night, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Coach Hall. It's really appreciated, and we have so many teachers across this district that have great ideas, and you're persistent and you push.
Eduardo and Coach
That's
Davis.
right, and good things happen.
Invictus.
So-
Where'd that come from, right?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
right.
Good
It's been
night.
a night of
Hold on, Coach
celebration.
Hall, before you go.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I got a question for you.
Sir.
Because I got a referee in the building. Can I bring a referee with me?
Sure.
He's a good ref, so we want to make sure that
Who's
he
our
comes to the
referee?
Mespis.
Who's our
Wave
referee?
wave your hand.
Wave your hand, Pastor Howard.
Pastor Howard.
I know him. I've been yelling at him for 25 years.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Good night, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you. And that, folks, is all I have.
Oh, and I wanted to say something to Coach Hall. He looks like he's walking out. I don't want to interrupt, but I wanted to say something to him real quick.
Coach Hall.
Coach Hall, since you're heading out, I just wanted, in my comments, I was going to recognize you too, because I wanted to not only thank you for the idea, but also thank you for donating the funds, obviously, to make this happen. Ever since my kids were toddlers, we've had a shower curtain in one of our bathrooms that had a world map on it. And I know how incredibly important it is to take them and say, okay, you want to know where this is, what's on the news? Let me show you how to get, here, there. And so that has helped immensely as a mom. And so I can't imagine how amazing this is going to be for these teachers to be able to do the very same thing. I really just love it whenever somebody has a passion that you can put to purpose, and that's what you did, and knowing the importance of geography and something that's going to make these kids actually competitive on the world stage in the ever-changing world. So thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Simple solutions.
Absolutely.
You might as well continue.
Oh, me? Oh, I can keep going. Okay, perfect. Sorry. Like I had that a part of it. So, yeah, I have a few more comments here. So I wanted to say a thank you to everyone who participated in the selection committees for the new math instructional textbooks. I know that this evening we are going to be putting out the public hearings for those. And frankly, math is not a strong subject for me. So when my children have needed help in algebra and geometry, I've gotten them a tutor. And interestingly enough, that tutor has repeatedly said how difficult our current textbooks are to navigate. So I'm looking forward to seeing our students thrive and prosper with new resources. And so I'm really excited about that. And I'm grateful to those in the community who participated in the process. And certainly if anyone has questions, then please be a part of those reviews that we're going to have in April and May. That's important along the way. Tonight, we also made some other approvals, an agreement to add the Unified Insights to part of the Power School group. That's who also manages Canvas and all of that. And I'm excited for that because it's going to provide our team with a data dashboard that's going to help us track student success as we continue to offer diverse and enriching pathways for our students. We also approved a project approved a contract with Hanover Research, and that's going to offer us the depth and breadth of researchers who can help compile data for us when we don't have statisticians on staff to do that and work through the valuable information that we need. So the accountability and tracking and early warning and intervention tracking and all of that is going to be incredibly helpful for us as we follow our motto of helping every student succeed. Just a shout out, I loved participating in Reading Across America Day at South Ocala Elementary. I know I'm not alone. Many other people in our community did. They had representatives from the state senator, Senator Baxley's office, they had the sheriff, the police chief, firefighters, Dr. Gullett, a lot of folks. South Ocala, I was in their SAC meeting actually, and their SAC president just said, I have an idea. What if we did, this, and we had this day and we invited all these people? I'm like, okay. So, I gave her a list of emails and
she took it from there. And so it was amazing to have that kind of engagement. And I encourage any other teachers or schools that have an interest in doing that to get some community engagement. If you need any assistance from any one of us to help get those people to you, I don't think you would, but if you do, we all have those same connections and can help in that process. I also was going to mention, as we said, about saving money on the $130,000 in work change orders, so thank you. We also approved grant applications for several things, including safety and security for 2 middle schools, 1 elementary, and 3 of our charter schools. I wanted to say congratulations to all of our Southeastern Youth Fair participants, and not just the winners, though they should be especially proud if they did win. However, every student that participates in the fair should hold their heads high. Those raising and caring for those animals in varying sizes choose to take on exceptional tasks. And regardless of whether or not they came home with a winning ribbon, I hope that they know that we are all proud of them and what they have already done and most likely will be continuing to do. I'll offer another congratulations to the students from Miss Dorsey's class. I know we heard a lot from them, and I know that I said this previously, but I'm going to say it again. We did take Representative Yvonne Hayes-Henson to her classroom, to Miss Dorsey's classroom, so she could tell all about that. And it really is amazing what those 5th grade students have done. With a 5th grade, as a 5th grade parent, y'all, that's amazing. Anyway, so I want to give a shout out to our scholar athletes who recently participated in state wrestling tournaments and the middle school basketball tournament, and those currently on the baseball and softball diamonds, athletes on the tennis and volleyball courts, and all those track athletes, including our elementary school students who are going to be participating in a district-wide track meet tomorrow, including my son. So I'm excited to give him a little shout out there. Also, while I was at the middle school basketball tournament at Westport, the ROTCs were out there. I mean, we just have so many amazing things happening in our district all the time. I want to give a shout out to all of our amazing students that do a ton of great work in and out of the classroom, because all of those things I just mentioned are not in class, with the exception of the Dr. N.H. Jones kids, are not in classroom work. It's all extracurricular out of the classroom that helps build the whole student. And so it's really amazing. And then just 2 other things here. In just a moment, after we're done with our comments, we'll be reviewing the alternative placements and expulsions. And just again, to reiterate what I've said before, and many of us have, I'm seriously looking forward to our code of conduct review, because there are some of those offenses and issues that I believe need some serious reconsideration on how we look at them. And then finally, we have just a few days left in this third 9 weeks. In our last meeting, a few meetings ago, I mentioned the apathy of students, and I want to borrow the term that we learned or that heard from Ocala Charter Schools T.C. Matthews in our most recent work session, and actually switch the word apathy to the positive side of that, of how do we motivate these kids out of the state that they're in. And as we come out of spring break, it's my intention to check our third 9 weeks grades and see where we are and see if it's tracking with where we were at the end of the first semester, because we may need to implement some key motivational strategies and tactics to increase student and parent engagement in our last 9 weeks. Because I believe that if we're still seeing in this third 9 weeks what we saw in the first semester, that if we implement the right tools and ideas, we may still be able to flip those grades around so they don't end the second semester the way they ended the first semester. And with that, I wish everyone a safe and exciting spring break, and come back ready to finish strong.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Ms. King?
Yes, Mr. Louder, I personally want to tell you happy retirement, and thank you so much for the past 7.5 years, when sometimes I would see you and sometimes I wouldn't see you, but thank you for always being a true professional. And also, it is spring break coming upon us, and it's a fun time, and it's a healthy time for everyone. So students and teachers and parents, use this time to regenerate yourselves, refresh yourselves. If you can get a little bit of reading in, that's great also. Also, last week, or 2 weeks ago, Ms. Throward had some pretty good conversation about contracts and our employees, our teacher contracts. And you went into that pretty deep. And then we've had some teachers come before us, and as a school board member, sometimes we hear bits and pieces of things, and sometimes we may not always have the accurate or full story of everything that is going on. We did have some teachers come before this board and discuss their displeasure that they have not had a contract with any money increase up to this point. So I did a little bit of research because I perceived it as the district was not affording opportunities to connect and, I guess, negotiate with the MEA, so there could maybe be some discussion for a money increase proposal. It's my understanding that that has never taken place. It is also my understanding that our district proposed some dates back in November 2nd, 3rd, 10th, 11th, February 10th, 15th, and 17th. I believe the district did have to cancel on the 15th, but these dates were open for maybe some negotiations. And maybe I don't completely understand this, but it is my understanding that maybe sometimes people that are in the MEA, there's a committee of maybe 10. I believe it's 10. And sometimes that affords that not everybody can attend the meeting, so they have to reschedule, and they haven't been having these meetings. So as I hear that as a board member, I would like to throw out the suggestion that maybe there could be alternative members, that if their committee cannot meet, that there could be some alternates so that we can have I don't know, any other way to say it other than get the show on the road. Because the board, we cannot approve anything if it is not brought to us. So after hearing your comments, after I did a little bit of digging and investigation, I felt that I needed to tell maybe the rest of the story, or the story that I had been aware of. And I would hope that maybe if the committee is formed or they could find these alternates, maybe these discussions could also happen this summer. So we're not almost finished with the school year before any type of, is brought before us. So I just felt like I needed to piggyback off what you began last week. I did my due diligence. I did some research, and I feel that I needed to bring this forth. That's what I have for this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board Member King. Let me follow you on that one part. Your assessment of that is very accurate. I too asked some questions concerning that because I was concerned about why it was taking so long. And there's a lot of different factors on why it takes. One of the things that I found out is that we normally don't get our budget until in the early fall. And so that has to be approved as well before they can start negotiations. And then once the budget is approved, I'm just hoping that this coming year will be a little bit more earlier in having these conversations. We tell our staff we value them, and they're working on a promise, basically, that we're going to do right by them and that they're going to get something. So it takes both sides to be able to talk, and both sides have to be willing to come together and set those dates, stick to those dates. And I love the idea of alternates. Maybe I think that's beyond us setting that. I think that's going to have to come from the powers to be in those bargaining units, because we get the questions, we're getting the emails. When am I getting a raise? Why are you guys holding? Matter of fact, I was sitting here tonight. I got one on my email right now where someone's asking me that, and have we voted on it? And we haven't gotten it yet. So as things move, I'm sure I'm sure it's going to get moved further, and we can get this behind us and take care of our folk. It is our intention to be good to our people as best we can. So thank you, Ms. Thor and Ms. King, for bringing that forward. Go ahead, Ms. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention on that. It's something I was talking to Ms. Oliver about this, actually. I've been on the board for 16 months.
And not one time in those 16 months have I been able to have this conversation because of how long this has been delayed in the process. And because we've learned it's not entirely all up to the district that has caused that delay. But I'm looking forward to being able to show our employees and understanding, again, 16 months I've been on this board and I haven't been able to be a part of those discussions yet. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, and thank you to all of the comments that we've heard from you guys tonight. Thank you to all of the wonderful work that everyone has done thus far and continue to do every day in our district to make sure that kids are educated. Mr. Lauder, thank you. Did he leave? Oh, there he is. Oh, he was behind the chair. Thank you so much. So much goes into making us look good on this dais, whether we're here or whether we're in the old building. You guys do a tremendous job every time. You work out the bugs, you make sure that we're heard, you make sure that we're viewed, you make sure that the public know what's going on with the Marion County Public School District. And I thank you guys. I can't thank Kevin, your team, enough for what you do. I know sometimes it seems like it's never-ending work because you're still trying to perfect the perfect sound. It's almost like you're a producer, music producer. You want that perfect pitch, that perfect sound, that perfect everything, no squelches. You want that, but things happen. But you guys are professionals and you do an excellent job at it, and I want to thank you that. I don't know how the layout will change. I don't know about that. Mr. Brownie brought his recommendation, but for where we are right now, you guys do an excellent job, so thank you for that. Last week we had the reading at the different schools, and I appreciate that. I wasn't able to make it to South Ocala. However, I did want to make sure I go read because it's important that we go read to these kids and emphasize the importance of reading. And I had the opportunity to go to Hammett Bowen with Principal Crawford and Ms. Engelgau's class, and I had the. Let me say this: I had never heard of Pete the Cat until maybe 2 years ago, and it was Pete the Cat and his new shoes, and I read Pete the Cat. Matter of fact, I even inserted Pete the Cat in a sermon, and my church got introduced to Pete the Cat, and Pete the Cat, and Pete the Cat, and Pete the Cat is something else. He is a true, he's a good cat. I like Pete the Cat. And so when I went to Hammett Bowen the other day, Miss Crawford, Principal Crawford, gave me these books to choose from that she had selected. And one of them was Pete the Cat. But it wasn't Pete the Cat in his new shoes. It was Pete the Cat and the Missing Cupcakes. So I want to encourage everybody. Listen, I've been, my granddaughter is 3 years old, and I'm subscribing to this book club and buying her these books are coming to my house all the time for my granddaughter. And I said, you know what? They have never sent me a Pete the Cat book. So I'm going to write them and say, you guys need to include Pete the Cat with Dr. Seuss as well, because Pete the Cat has some stuff to say. So I read Pete the Cat. The kids loved that one. I love, and the Missing Cupcakes. And I read The Hair Love, which was a story about a young lady and her different types of hair. Great book, 2 great books. And then I was had the opportunity to read to 2 classes at Romeo Elementary. Thank you, Principal Parker, for allowing me to come out there and read to those kids. And the kids chose a book for me in Miss Lazo's class. And it's dangerous when you let kids choose a book for you because it could really make you look bad. And they chose a book that I had never seen before. It was called The Book with No Pictures. And this book was just no pictures, but if you read it's an interactive book, and it has you making all these weird sounds and doing all these weird things. And at the end of the reading that book, I said, you know what? Y'all really set me up. I'm just glad nobody was filming this because I was making noises and all types of things that I had never could think could come out of me. But it was a great, great book, the book with no colors. And then I went to Miss Merced's class, and they gave me a book that I thought I knew. It was The Three Little Pigs. And I thought I knew this one, Dr. Gillette. I've heard the story many times, but this time I read The Three Little Pigs from the wolf's perspective. He really was, it really was a great book. I want to encourage you guys to read it if you haven't. And at the end of the story of that, I said, well, who's the bad guy in this? And all the kids felt sorry for the wolf. Wow. Completely different from when I read The Three Little Pigs when I was a kid. And when I read The Three Little Pigs when I was a kid, the wolf was the bad guy. The big bad wolf? Big bad wolf. But in this one, the wolf just wanted to make his grandmother a birthday cake. That's all he did. And he just happened to be hungry when one of the pigs fell dead, and he didn't want to see that ham go to waste. So it was an interesting book from the wolf's perspective. So I love these types of books because what this does is it challenges these kids to think and to go beyond the box. And that's why it's important that parents, you read to your kids. I encourage reading. I encourage you reading to them at an early age. I encourage and stress reading. So it was truly a great time out at Romeo with the alternative story of The Three Little Pigs. As we get ready to go to spring break, as always, I want to say, please be safe. Staff, it's been rough. It's been rough up until this point. Please use this time wisely, decompress. Everybody needs to get away for a minute. When I was younger, they used to say on Fridays, I'm heading for the mountains. Y'all will get that in a minute. And they weren't going to the mountains. It was a blue and white can. I'm not stressing that. I'm not endorsing that. But we all need to get away. We all need to get away. We all need to decompress and come back stronger so we can have a strong finish, as Ms. Campbell just said. And be prepared, students, to put forth your best. We still have some testing that they have to do. Some just did some testing recently, and we encourage them to be prepared to come back and finish strong. So we got a lot of work to do. Some kids are going to be going to summer school. Parents, if you have not heard about summer school, please talk to your schools about what your kids may need, what you need to do to make sure that they're signed up for summer school. We're heading there. We're heading into a prom season, we're heading into a graduation season, and we're heading into spring break this week. Please be safe. Please do things responsible. We want everybody to come back from spring break, and we want to have a good time while we're out on spring break. All right? That ends my comments for tonight. We're going to move forward. Before addressing expulsion matters, I wish to acknowledge that board members have received the alternative placement list for students through February 11, 2022. Ms. Martinez-Lopez, are there any parents who have submitted timely requests to speak on their child's disciplinary?
No, sir.
All right. May I have a motion to approve the expulsion of students JD 22087, JD 22088, JD 22089, JD 22090, JD 22091, and JD 22092 with educational services through the remainder of the 2021-2022 school year and the first semester of the 2022-2023 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Campbell.
Second.
Second by Board Member Thor. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. This concludes the televised and business portion of the meeting. We're going to recess now at 7:28 and return for the off-air session of this meeting.